I had a question come in from Instagram asking, how do you handle being placed on a performance improvement plan or a PIP? We're going to talk about that today. My name is Tom and I'm the founder of Vertical Motion, where we help mid-career professionals become executives. That sounds like you and you want to learn how to take the next step in your executive career journey. Down below is a link where you can book a call with me. I also encourage you to watch this video here, which talks about the step-by-step process to becoming an executive and gives you a bunch of insight in how the program works, including the cost of tuition, all of it, right? All of the things that we do is in that video. So give that video a watch or book a call with me directly and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what do you do when you've been placed on a PIP. There are few things that are worse than being placed on a performance improvement plan at work. Getting laid off is pretty bad. Getting fired is worse than getting laid off. Being put on a PIP kind of feels like it's right in between those two, to be honest with you. It's a little worse than getting laid off because basically what's happening is your boss is telling you, you suck at your job and you need to get better or else we're gonna get rid of you, which is terrible. Like if you take a step back and think about what a performance improvement plan is, I think it's absolutely a shit tool. I think it's a waste of time and energy because here's the thing. If you're putting an employee, I'm talking to managers right now. If you put an employee on a PIP, there's a couple things that are happening. One, either that employee should have never been hired and they're just not a cultural fit for the company. Two, something is really going wrong in this employee's life and they're having a hard time. And as an empathetic manager, you should be leaning into figuring out what that is and how to help them through that. Or three, maybe you're not giving them what they need to succeed. Very few people, and I'm talking like, of course, there are 5 to 10% of society that just are lazy. But beyond that, most people are not. Most people want to excel and do great work, right? Why is it that someone who was laid off or put on a PIP or fired goes to another organization and now they're amazing at their job? Why is that? It's because sometimes managers and employees don't mix. And so I think a PIP is kind of, it's a shitty way to tell your direct employee that you don't like them and you don't think they're going to be very useful and you kind of want them to just go away on their own. That's my rant on PIPs. I think they're useless tools. I don't like PIPs. I never put employees on PIPs. I let people know, hey, we have to do better. How can I help you do better? But I don't necessarily formally create that. A PIP is a document that ultimately is the first step in a company letting someone go that they feel like might have difficulty letting go. This could be because you're a protected class, over 40, a different race or color, like whatever it is. But ultimately, people are using PIPs as tools to document that they don't think you're doing very good at your job. With that rant over, how do you handle being placed on a PIP? Let's say that you've been placed on a PIP. You've been told by your direct supervisor, this is a performance improvement plan. I'm going to put you through this. You have 3 months to recover or else, right? And we know what the or else is that you're not going to be a part of the organization. Okay, so here's how you handle being placed on a PIP. First of all, thank your supervisor for the opportunity to improve. Just smile and appreciate it. Nod knowingly and just say thank you for the opportunity to improve. And do not get into a verbal argument because all that's going to do is give them the energy that they want, which is, I knew I need to get rid of that person. They are creating conflict by giving you this PIP. And if you rise to that conflict, you're giving them exactly what they want, which is it's much easier to let go of someone you don't like than it is to let go of someone that you do like and that you admire and respect. That makes it harder. Make their job hard right now by being professional. Thank you for the opportunity to improve. Let's see what we can do. And leave it at that. Do not say much more than that. The second thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you follow all of the steps in that performance improvement plan. Do the things that are being asked of you. Now, typically, a performance improvement plan should be very specific in what they're asking you to improve. You need to do this these many times on these dates. You need to perform to this level in this way or whatever it is, right? Sometimes you get a PIP that's just very poorly written and generic. You want to make sure you are very clear on what they want you to do that's different than what you're doing, and then do that. Ask questions. Make sure that you're asking your direct supervisor and HR what it is that you can do better, and do those things. Go ahead and start your job search because you are not surviving this. Very few people actually survive a PIP. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, let's say that you do turn it around in their eyes. You may not even know what you're doing wrong. You may not even realize that there was a problem. And then you get this pip and you're surprised. That's usually what happens. It's like you're frustrated with the organization's frustrated with you. They give you this pip that just makes you even more frustrated, and then you disconnect, right? Most people are in this category. So really, they are giving you a warning that it's time for you to start dusting off your resume, and therefore you should do so. Very rarely is the situation where like, oh yeah, I didn't realize I was doing so bad, I'll do better now, and then you do better, and then everyone's happy and everything just kind of goes back to normal. Just doesn't really happen that way very often. Sometimes, but like less than 10%. If you're given a pip, if you're still there in 6 months, I'll be shocked. Recognize that even if you do come off of a pip, you're always going to be at the bottom of the list for everything. When they consider succession planning or promotions or raises, you're always going to lag behind the people who were not on the PIP. It's kind of a scarlet letter. And as long as you work for this direct supervisor, it's kind of a shit situation for you. There's not much you can do about it. It is possible for you to move in an organization away from this direct supervisor towards one that you connect with in a better way or sees more potential in you. That's how you can avoid being fired. But again, it does follow you around, even that organization. Even if you are now the favored employee of a direct supervisor, you still have this PIP in your past. It's in your file. And when they consider you for promotions later, it's going to show up. So this is something that's literally on your permanent record, and it's hard to get rid of, and it's hard to explain away as, you know, like, well, that was given to me by a bad boss. It just doesn't work that way. PIPs honestly are not fair. They're a document designed to help you exit yourself from the organization. If you don't exit yourself from the organization, they will exit you. And so you can choose to stick around to wait for the unemployment benefits when you invariably will get laid off or let go or terminated. You can accept the unemployment benefits and any kind of like severance package they might or might not offer you. Understand that your employment in this organization is coming to an end, whether you want it to or not. Really, this is a time for you to reconsider what it is that you actually want to do in your career. While you are on this PIP, you have probably 3 months before the inevitable is going to happen. Either you're going to leave or they are going to make you leave. So take that time to consider what you want to do next in your career. Do the things that the company asks or the organization asks you to do, but also go ahead and start thinking about what is the next step for you in your career and where do you want to go next? How can you grow from this? How can you move forward from this? Try not to pour too much emotional energy into this obvious slight, this obvious consideration that you are not a worthy employee. They're basically telling you you suck. And this is why I think PIPs are stupid and they're unfair. But when you're placed on one, you don't have a lot of options. You can hit all of the metrics and the targets and do everything right, and they'll still find a reason to let go of you because that's what they wanted to do in the first place. Humans sometimes are just awful people, and it sounds like if you're on a PIP, this is a situation. Because also, if they put you on a PIP and you start to become super successful, well, that makes them look bad as a manager because now they've put someone who's a high performer on a PIP. So now they have to make you look bad. This is just how things work. It's super frustrating. I'm really sorry that you're on a PIP. It's not fair to you. Your manager sucks. I agree with you, but we have to let go and we have to move forward from here. So my best advice to you is when you're on a PIP, be professional, do the right things, show them that they were incorrect in assuming that you should be on a performance improvement plan, do all of the things that they ask you to do. And in the meantime, dust off your resume and go get yourself a job in a company that wants to believe in you, that wants to grow you, that wants you to succeed and be successful and be somebody that can actually contribute at a very high level. Go find opportunities that you'll thrive. One of the analogies that I love to use is this idea of a plant and a pot. Sometimes we put a plant inside of a flower pot that has soil that's caustic to that plant, and that plant withers and dies in that soil. You can take another plant and put it in that exact same soil and it thrives. Where you put daffodils is not where you would put a cactus. So sometimes it's not the flower's fault, and sometimes it's not even the pot's fault. It's just that that flower does not belong in that soil. And so you have to find the right soil for you to thrive as a flower. You have to find the right culture, and you have to find the right supervisor and the right environment to thrive. And the environment you're in just may not be the right environment. Maybe it was at some point. It's certainly not anymore. It's time to let go of this relationship and move on and find something that you can thrive in. That's what I have for you today. This is how you handle a PIP. You do all the things right and you prepare yourself for your next journey in your career. And if you want help with that, if you're ready to build your executive career coming out of a PIP, I have worked with people who do this. There's a link below in the description where you can book a call with me where we can talk through this together. I hope this is helpful, and I will see you in the next one.